Happy 150th birthday, Canada. So if you guys didn't know, it is July 1st. It is Canada Day, not a big deal for a lot of people in this world and for a lot of my viewers, but for me it is a humongous deal because this great nation that was born on July 1st, 1867 is now 150 years old, July 1st, 2017. So this video is kind of just like me telling you guys my life story and how Canada has been super important to me and how I moved here and everything like that. Don't worry, for you non-Canadians, this is not going to be a video of me saying, oh, I love Canada, it's the best country in the world and poutine and maple syrup is the best. No, this is just me telling you guys how I moved here and how my life has been and how Canada has impacted my life, because it has been, well, a huge part. To represent my country, I'm wearing the only Canadian team in the MLB right now, which is my favorite sport, baseball, the Blue Jays, and I just want to check here what their record is in 2017. I kind of forgot. I haven't been following them, and oh boy. Okay, I'm just gonna switch this hat off, and so I'm representing my country, repping the only Canadian team that the only other Canadian team that's been the Montreal Expos. And I'm just kidding. I'm still a huge Blue Jays fan. It's just that they're not doing too good right now. So I wanted to kind of do like a throwback. So for any of you older MLB viewers, you guys probably remember the Montreal Expos. They are now the Washington Nationals. So I went from Canada to the most American place on earth. If you guys did not know, which you probably do, you probably can tell, I was born in the Philippines, which is in Asia, on the other side of the world of Canada. So I have been back there a while. I love going back there, but this lifestyle is admittedly much better. All my family live there. So this story, I'm just going to be telling you guys about my family and my two cousin families. So in total, my really close family, my cousins, there are 3 families of us. My family of 4, my other cousin family of 5, and another cousin family of about like 4. So we all used to live together in the Philippines. Not live together, but lived really near each other when we were in the Philippines. So I was born in the Philippines until I was 3 years old, and I moved to Canada when I was 3, and my sister was 1. And we all started moving there because my great aunt who in the Philippines first moved to Canada before everyone. She was the first one to be like, I think I really want to have a better life, a better lifestyle, a better opportunity, you know, a better job. So I think I'm going to go to Canada, and I'm so glad that she chose to go to Canada, because that is how I moved to Canada. That's why everyone else moved to Canada who used to live in the Philippines. Not everyone, of course. My grandparents on my dad's side, they stayed in the Philippines, but my mom, again, the 3 families that I told you before, they're all on my mom's side, and they all moved to Canada with me. So when I was 3 years old, we went to this nation that I was 3, so I don't really know anything about. I just remember going on a plane for about like 14 hours or something. The first place we moved in, believe it or not, all 3 families plus some aunts and uncles, so in total there are about 20 of us, you know, the 3 families plus more people who were still like related to us, like they were uncles and aunts. We all lived in one tiny little apartment building in the southern part of Ontario. I don't want to say exactly which city, because I don't want to give away, you know, where my family lives and stuff like that. Yeah, and that was it was a pretty tightly packed place we've been living in for about 2 years. I lived there for 2 years. It was no, I think it was even like less than 2 years. It was like 1 year. So we lived in that really tiny apartment building, and it was about, again, I don't know the exact height. I think it was a decently sized apartment. It wasn't like 2-bedroom. I think it was about 3-4 bedroom. And but the bad thing was each family had to live in 1 bedroom. So yeah, imagine a family of 5 or 4, you know, squeezed into one tiny bedroom with like a bed. And I think my dad had to sleep on the floor for like the whole time we were there. So that was kind of suck. But I don't remember much from that. Again, I was like 3 or something. So it was. I just remember that it was really tight. So. And yeah, and of course I'm living with my cousins a lot, and now I'm really close to my cousins, but I guess maybe back then, I guess we were sick of each other. I don't remember much. So then we realized, yeah, this is not going to work for us. Again, we had to live there because we didn't have too much money, because we just moved there. But then, you know, they all got jobs, so we wanted to live in a bigger area. So we all moved into like a house in the suburbs. It was in the same city. It was like a 2-story house. It was fairly small, but back then it was big for us. But then again, even though it was 2 stories and it had a finished basement, we still had to do 1 family per bedroom. So because it was only about like a 4-bedroom house, so we had more space, like to have in the living room and stuff. And but again, the sleeping arrangements were a bit tight. But I remember in the few years I was there, I think 2 years or something, it was a blast. I remember it being super fun because because I'm really close to my cousin more now, but back then you could tell, like, if you see them every day and you live with them, you start, you know, getting sick of them. So, but I remember still being super fun. I had a PS1. I didn't even know I had one, but apparently I had an original PlayStation, which I wish I still had, because that would have been so amazing. But I don't have one. It's fine though, it's fine. So yeah, I lived there, and it was a really fun time. When I lived there, I just started going to school. So I was 4 and I went to JK. My whole JK year I lived there, and I actually went to the same school as my 2 cousins, so that was why I had a lot of fun. It was fun time, and that's living with my cousins. That's how that's how I started becoming really close to them, and of course I always stayed close to them. So then it was still a tight fit. I went to school and I was about 4, and I don't remember too much again. So I was 4. So then I remember that after my first JK year, we realized we got more money. My parents got jobs, and everyone started, you know, getting more money and being more settled into the new country. So then we all started to we decided to part separate ways and have the 3 families go in different houses. So the one family of 4 my one family of 4 cousins and their aunt and uncle, they stayed in that house which had the PS1. I'm gonna call it the PS1 house. You know, and they've actually been living there for about 8 years, and they just moved out recently. So yeah, and then we moved into the town next door. It was only like a 25-minute drive away, so we were still pretty close. And we had our own house too. It was actually a semi-detached, so it was still pretty small. But you know, instead of 20 people to a house, there was 4 people to a semi-house, which was better. And the other family of 5, which was a bigger family, and it's a really big family now, they actually stayed in the same city, like a 5-minute drive away. So now we're all separate areas, but we still visit each other a lot, and we still do now. But back then we visit each other like at least 4 times a year, on holidays, on birthdays, just to get together, you know. And now I have back then I had a really good relationship with them, and now we're really close. And I've said that multiple times. I'm gonna stop saying it. You guys get the gist. And I've been living in the city that I moved out of for the PS1 house for about 8 years, and I just moved out recently. You guys of course didn't know that. I did miss like a month of videos because I was moving, but that was just a year ago. So for the whole I was 5 to about like 13, 14. So yeah, that's about an 9-year span of living in that one city. And I've been living in a couple houses in that one city. I think 2 houses, the semi, and then after 3 years in the semi, I moved to a full house, like a full detached house. So and in the city beside the PS1 house, it was a great life. I had made a lot of amazing friends. Actually, the first year that I moved in the semi house, I didn't speak a word. Oh no, sorry, it was in the first year that I went to JK. So in the PS1 house, I'm gonna dial back a bit because I forgot to tell you a little detail. I did not speak a word of English. So yeah, I really was the immigrant I was really the odd one out, but I feel like I didn't care for some reason, because I was just like, what's happening? This is not this is not a language that I understand. So yeah, I could only speak the native Filipino language, and I did not speak any English, so that was fun. I don't really remember much, actually. I don't remember speaking Filipino, because I can't really speak it now. So and I eventually learned it. I guess I learned it quickly because I remember speaking some English in SK and JK, or all English. So I guess I'm a quick learner. So yeah, apparently it was pretty funny because I would always talk and respond to the teachers in Filipino, and I'm expecting them to understand me. So yeah, that was just a little detail. So going back, fast forward to in the semi house, I was introduced to a lot of things. I was introduced to this new lifestyle. I was still getting used to it. And I started playing sports like hockey and baseball. Hockey is huge in Canada, you guys can see in the gameplay background. NHL 17, I just wanted to do like a little Canadian tribute since hockey is like the national winter sport. So yeah, and I was introduced to baseball, hockey, and for the whole 8-year span. Then I quickly became your typical Canadian. So basically all my Filipino heritage, I still had my Filipino heritage, I still, you know, had celebrated my Filipino culture, but I quickly became just another Canadian boy, you know, saying sorry a lot. Not really, but I really got accustomed to the Canadian culture, you know, playing hockey, watching a lot of sports, and whatever typical North Americans do, I became that really fast, really quickly. I made a lot of friends. It was a great time. And the most Canadian thing you can do, in grade 4, I went to French immersion. So, and I'm still in French immersion, so that was a really big change in my life too, and I'm really glad that I did that. So I went to French immersion, and then I went to high school. I lived there for 9 years. Before I went to high school, if you guys didn't know, I made like a moving vlog on my channel a couple of months back. I did move to I went like an hour north of where I used to live, and now I'm in basically the country. I'm in like the rural area. I used to live in the suburbs for my whole life, but now I'm in a country, and you can tell that I'm a country because the Wi-Fi is so damn slow. So yeah, that kind of sucks about it, but I do love the country, or it's not the country really, it's just really like rural. It's totally different from where I used to live. I used to live in like the city suburban area. So now the backyards are really big. I have a really big backyard, which is amazing. There's farms everywhere. You kind of smell a lot of like manure when you're driving, but it's a good lifestyle for me here too. I really love how close everyone is to each other because it's a smaller town. Now it really is a town now, and everything's just, you know, quieter, which I really love. So, and that brings us to where I am today. I'm still living in the house. I've been living in the house for I think about a year now, a year and a bit, and you know, it's been amazing. Canada has been, it wasn't my choice, but I'm glad my parents decided to move here because my life has been great, and I've been so fortunate to have a life, because a lot of people who are still in the Philippines or in other countries are, you know, they're not as lucky and as beneficial as me to have, you know, I have a freaking $2,000 computer or something, which is crazy. I feel like I take all this that I have for granted, and I feel like a lot of North Americans do that too. They take what their life is for granted, which reflecting on the 150th birthday and everything, and realizing, yeah, I'm super lucky to live in this amazing country, and also everyone else who are in a good position, like all Americans, you guys are all lucky. Also every immigrant, if they were lucky enough to move here, it's great. It's a great life, and I'm super happy that I'm here. So yeah, that's kind of finishes this little short story of where I am right now. I guess so I don't need to do a draw on my life, I guess, even though I don't need to because I'm only like 15. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not Canadian, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you can, you know a little bit more about my story. And if you are Canadian, be proud of living in this amazing country, and be proud of it being a country for 150 years, which is actually relatively really young for one. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little background gameplay of NHL 17. I just wanted to do it because, you know, and hockey, Canada, you guys know the connection. Thank you guys again. I guess thank you, Canada. It's been a great 16 years. I'm gonna be 16 soon, which is freaking crazy. I'm done grade 10, so yeah, and I hate exams so much. Thanks guys. Peace out.